Tracker RMS Evolution, Recruitment Workflow, Video 1. In this video, we'll be covering how to add a new client along with a new contact record for that client. We'll then create a new job from the contact record and then work inside that job record. When we're in the job, we'll talk about the different field types and then how to post jobs direct to your website or to our free Indeed feed. We'll then take a look at our long list, which allows you to search the Tracker RMS database. And then where applicable, you can also search job boards that have been added in Tracker for you. Once we've done our search, we'll take a look at how to correspond with candidates. And we'll do that either by contacting them one-on-one or in bulk. Once we find the right candidates, we'll then add the candidates to the shortlist to then move through the process of hiring. Let's go ahead and get started. When you log into Tracker RMS and you're on your My To-Do list, you can go ahead and click on the new wand in order to create a brand new record. Here, we're going to add a new company, so we'll click on the New Company button. In this field, all we need to do is add in the new company name. From here, I'm going to go ahead and hit OK and edit. This will bring me inside the company record so I can make any edits I need to the company record. If I hit OK, the company will be created, but I will not be brought into their record. Once I'm inside the company record, I can make any updates I would like to any of the fields that I would like. What I would like to do right now is add a brand new contact to this company. Again, I'll click on the wand, and now I'll click on New Contact. Since I'm in the company record, the company will automatically be associated with this brand new contact. Again, I'm going to hit OK and edit in case I need to make any updates to the contact record that I've created. Now that I'm in the contact record, I would like to add my email address and my business phone. Now that I've made those changes, I'll go ahead and hit Save Only. It is best practice to create a new job from inside the contact record that you're in. So to do that, I'll click on the wand again and click on New Job. Now we use that as best practice because now that I've clicked on New Job, this job will now automatically associate with the contact record I'm in, as well as the company that that contact is a part of. So here I'll type in the new job name of Java Developer, and then I'll have to make a choice on what the job type is. Please keep in mind your naming conventions might be slightly different, so your list might look slightly different than what I have here in my drop-down menu. These different job types will allow for different types of dates and different ways to enter fees into jobs. When it's a temp or a consulting or a contract position, we give you the date section for start date, end date, as well as a fee area for pay rate and charge rate. When you're talking about direct hire or executive search, all you'll have is a start date as well as a place to put a salary in. So it is important to choose the correct job type. If you have a job specification, you can select here and upload that file if needed. And then either hit OK if you don't want to work on that job anymore, or do what I do and click OK and edit. This will then bring us right into the job itself. From here, you'll see the job name that I gave it, the company that it's associated to, as well as the contact. You'll then see the job type listed and the job status. Now the job status will normally always start at open. This means that the job is new in the system and has not gone through the hiring process yet. The job owner field will normally default to the person entering the job itself. If you have access to do so and need to change it, just click on the drop-down menu here and choose a different job owner. You also have the opportunity to add a secondary owner if needed, as well as putting any percentages for commission splits as well. Over back on the left-hand side, you're going to have the department. Now, since this is fully customizable by each tracker database, you might have completely different departments than what's listed here. Also, you might not have departments configured at all, which is fine as well. If you do, please just make sure to add this job to the correct department. The last field in the job details is going to be the job source. This is another field that is not mandatory, but I do find very important for reporting purposes. If you click on the drop-down menu, you should see all the sources available to where this job was found. If for any reason it's not in that drop-down menu, you can click on this green Add Source button, type in the source name, hit Save, and it will then show up in that drop-down menu. I feel this is very important because then you can see where your jobs are coming from if you'd like to pull some reports on it at a later date. Moving down to the job profile, you have your job description area. This is literally that. It is a place to put a job description by either typing in or pasting in a job description that you've had. In the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see two little lines where you can pull and drag that open just to be able to view this a bit better if needed. Now, do keep in mind, this area does have potential of being candidate-facing. We have some templates that you can send out where it would automatically pull in this job description to send out to candidates so you have less work and less typing to do. So definitely keep in mind the job description should always only be what you wouldn't mind a candidate seeing. Now, we do understand there are a lot of internal things in commentary that need to go back and forth, or things that you need to remember that you wouldn't want a candidate seeing on a job, and that's why we give you this strategy commentary area. This section here is for any internal notes, especially if the client is picky, you can put notes about that, or if you need to have the candidate submitted by a certain date, you could put that in there as well. This field is viewable to any of the users in the system, so anything you need to talk back and forth about, you can use this as well. Moving down to the company reference field, if you have a company reference number, maybe the company sent you over a PO number, you can use that, or if you have an internal way of referencing different job numbers, you can add here. If not, you can go ahead and leave that blank. Over on the right-hand side, you have the contact role. The contact role is actually the role of the contact on the job. So if Courtney Harchak was the hiring manager, and that was what the role was set in her profile, that would be shown here under contact role. This helps you determine who you're working with at that company, as well as letting your candidates know if they are working with a hiring manager or an HR person, something along those lines. Moving back over to the left-hand side, we have reason for status. Now, this menu is normally only used when you close out a job that you did not get. So when I click on this drop-down menu, you'll see some different reasons on why this job was closed. If you need to, you can use again that green plus to be able to add a different reason if it's not already listed in there. Now, that reason for status is helpful when pulling reports at the end of the year again, or even end of the month. If you see that you have chosen client closed job or client filled internally, you can see that on reporting and be able to talk to your client if you need to. Moving on over to the location. Now, the location will normally pre-populate with wherever the contact is located. So whatever address the contact has in their record, it will show in here. If for any reason you need to change it, you can type right in here if needed. And this is where the job will be located. Oops. Now keep in mind too that this location can pull through to different templates that you would be sending out to candidates. So either try to make it as detailed or less detailed as possible, however you're feeling. The territory option here, I would not bother to change it unless you have different territories set up in your system. And then your working folder, you can click on this to go to the job link page if needed. Last but not least, in the job profile section is going to be number of positions. This is how many people do you need to get to work on this particular job. Now, a tracker is smart enough to know if you need 5 people on this job, It will keep the job open until you have 5 people either on billing or on assignment and the positions have been filled. One big thing to keep in mind, the number of positions is not a countdown. You will just see the number of positions listed there the entire time. Below number of positions, you'll see custom fields. On this particular account that I'm using, the custom fields are listed here. Now, if you do have custom fields on your job record, they may be located in a different place, or they could be here. Do fill them out as needed. Moving down, we're going to get to our job dates section. So our job dates, because this is a consulting position, are reflecting that. You're going to have a field for the award date, a field for the invoice start date. You'll also have a start date and end date for that particular assignment as well. Keep in mind it will automatically fill in the same day that you are entering the job into Tracker, and you can update that anytime that you would like. We do know that sometimes you do not know these details as you're entering the job into the system. Further down, you're going to see our job value section here. When entering a job into the system, the job value area is a place where you can put the potential value of this particular job. That way, if you'd like to run a pipeline report, you'll get a good idea of what's open in your pipeline. Now, the job value will update once you close the job out and add all the financials in to give you a more exact number, but do keep in mind while the job is open, it is just a potential value. The factored value, which is the fields below that, will give you a factored value depending on where the job is sitting in the status. So quite often, if it's sitting in an open status, it will sit at 20%. You have a 20% chance of getting that job, and it would show you 20% of that factored value. Now, as the job moves through the process and you go to interview and then offer pending, it gets closer to 100% for that factored value. Also, you'll see budget here, so if there's a specific budget number that job has, you can put that in. And then the target margin. So the target margin is going to be a place where you can put a percentage of where you can fluctuate on the job for, say, the charge rate and the pay rate for that particular candidate. If you have a little bit of wiggle room, you can put in whatever percentage that is. So whoever is sourcing for the job knows that they have that much room for that target margin. Once you've made all your updates, you're going to go ahead and hit Save Only just to keep you inside this job record. Normally, the next step in the recruitment workflow is to go to our Long List tab here and run a candidate search. But before we do that, I would like to go over the other tabs we have listed in this job. The next one that we'll take a look at is going to be Activities and Notes. This section here will allow you to see all the activities that were associated with this job. Please keep in mind this is another area where you can pick and drag and drop the different columns into different areas for you to better view them. You can also click the columns button, choose what columns you would and would not like to see. You can also filter out by looking at certain days if you only want the last 30, 60, or 90 days of activities. And then you can also filter the types of activities that you would like to view at the time. So you can come here and click on telephone call, and this would only show you telephone calls within the last 30 days on this particular job. Moving down to the notes section, here's where you can add timestamp notes. All you need to do is click on the green plus, type in your note, and hit OK. You'll see here the timestamp note, and if there were any other ones, they'd be listed consecutively after that. The next tab down is going to be our documents section. Now, we try to make storing documents in Tracker really easy. So we do have a documents section in every single one of our records, whether it be a company or even a contact, as well as a candidate record, and just like you can see here, a job record. So if you have a document that is only pertaining to this Java developer position, you can come here and upload them. What you can do is you can either open up the files on your computer by clicking this and clicking the tab there. You can then open up the specific document and it will be added to the list here. If you would like, you can also have this file already open and then drag and drop the document right into this section here. If you would like to create new folders, if you hover over where it says Documents, you'll have this button here, and you can click on New Folder. To upload a document into the specific folder, click on the folder itself and follow the same instructions as I said earlier by either clicking here to pick a file from your computer or dragging and dropping a file right into here. That would put that document directly into this folder right here. The next button down is going to be our website posting tab. Here you'll find the Publish Jobs section where you can publish jobs out to your website or to our free Indeed feed. In order to do that, what you'll do where it says Publish on my portal, you'll click Yes. You'll then fill out the details that you would like your candidates to see, including the reference number, a title, maybe the work type as it being a contract or a direct hire type of position, and any of these other categories that you would like. You'll then need to put in a job description, so you can come here and paste the job description in if you need, and then you can actually format it right from here. You can also put in bolds as well as bullet points if needed, and this is how your job will show right on your website. All you need to do to get it to the website is fill out all the details, hit Save Only, and this job will then be posted to your website. You will use that same section to post to our free Indeed feed by clicking on Share or Post, going down to Indeed, filling out the details needed, and clicking Post. This will then put this job into our free Indeed XML feed. Indeed will come along in 4 to 6 hours, scrape that feed, and add that job up on Indeed. If you're going to be posting to job boards, you may have a section here that says job board posting. Please keep in mind this is something that is normally for our premium clients only. If it's something that you're interested in getting integrated into Tracker, please reach out to your client success manager and they would be more than happy to help you. This would be the section where you can post to multiple job boards, the ones that you already have contracts with. When you click on Post a Job, you'll see here all the job boards that you have selected, and you can run through the process of typing up only one job description and filling out one page in order to post to multiple job boards that are paid destinations, social media destinations, and they even come with some free destinations that you can use. Something to remember is Tracker is customizable, so your published jobs or job board posting may be on a slightly different tab. They may be in a slightly different section, but they should all be viewable inside Tracker for you. Now that we've gone over the tabs on the job record itself, let's go to the long list search and try and find candidates for this Java developer position. When I click on long list search, it brings us to our candidate resume search. Here, you can search keywords or phrases that are on resumes in order to find the best candidates. So for our resume search here, we can do the Boolean search for you by you typing in certain keywords or phrases in the top section. At the top is always going to be your and words. So all of the words that you would like on a resume. If there's some that are maybes or ors, you can use this second section here. And then if you want not words or you want to add words that you do not want on a resume, you can add that to that third box down. If you're more comfortable typing your own Boolean search, click on the Boolean search button and go ahead and type your own search right into the field here. Let's go back to the basic search and add in my parameters here. So we're going to say Java, Developer, Microsoft, You'll then have different fields over on the right-hand side that we found were the top 4 fields that most recruiters search when looking for a candidate. Within radius, what that means is you can pick a certain mileage and then put in a zip code and have that come up with only candidates within 25 miles of the middle of this zip code. Now, we do understand that quite often people are not putting their zip codes on their resumes anymore, so you can check this box here to include all, which means it would include candidates that fit your search results that have blank zip codes. You then also have the salary rate as well as resume last updated or their work type. These are not the only ways that you can search, but they are the top 4. If you'd like more options, please click on Advanced Search, and you can see all the different options that you can add in for searching. You can add as many or as little of these fields as you would like. Once you've set it all up, we can hit Run Search to find our search results. One other thing that I would like to show you is you can add job boards here if you would like. So if you've set up to search job boards inside Tracker, you can come down and select all the ones that you would like to be shown when searching. Now that I have those in there, if I click on Advanced Search, you're going to see the different tabs for the different job boards where I can add in their certain parameters that they have on their job boards. The reason that we do this is we do know each job board has certain parameters that you can put in. So they might be different going board to board. If you would like, you can go to Indeed, put in anything that you would like from Indeed. Monster, you can add any of those, or TechFetch. If you'd like to do a catch-all, you can click on all job boards and fill this out, and this should give you all the search criteria for these 3 job boards. Once you've put everything in, go ahead and hit Run Search, and this will run the search for you and show you your different outcomes. So at the top, you're going to see that I've gotten 158 candidates back from your Tracker database, 98 candidates from Indeed, 50 from Monster, and 200 from TechFetch. If you need to redo your search, you can click on Search again, and that will bring you back to be able to revise your search terms if needed. But if you do want to get the results from here, click on Fetch Long List, and this is going to bring me the long list results of all the candidates that it showed me in this area. So this is what we call our long list. This section here will show you all the candidates under Tracker RMS, where they come back here, and they are ranked. So these candidates are ranked by relevancy and keyword. So what that means is it takes into consideration all the keywords that we typed in, but it also takes into consideration the relevancy on their resume. So if Alex here was a Microsoft developer 10 years ago, he may not come up on the top of the list, he'll come up further down the list. Here you'll see their rank numbers, and that's how they are sorted when you first get here. This is going to be another area where you're allowed to update your columns. So what you can do is you can pick up certain columns, drag them around. You can also sort by different things. If you don't want to sort by rank, you can change the sorts by clicking the arrows next to whatever columns that you would like. The green is always going to be the primary, and a red will always be the secondary. Moving on over to the columns here, if you would like to add different columns or remove certain columns, you can click this button. You would check or uncheck the columns that you would like. So if I take this out here, and maybe I'll take the email address out, I can hit save, and that will instantly update. Please do keep in mind this is a user view, so any changes that you make are only for yourself. Your colleagues will not see those changes. Let's take a look a little bit further on this long list to see everything that you can do. So from here, obviously you can see the candidate name, and then their current title, and then at the bottom of that will be the actual owner of that record. You then have the action button listed here, where you can action out this candidate on this job. So to do so, you'll click on this down arrow here. Well, this will give you the options on how you would like to correspond with your candidate. You can send an email, which also incorporates sending templates. You can send a text message. You can also reach out using any of the phone numbers that are listed on this candidate record. You also have the opportunity to view the candidate record if needed, so that would take you to a preview of the candidate record. Open candidate record would actually bring you all the way to the candidate record itself and take you out of this job record. If you need to create or open an agency resume, you have the option to do so by clicking on either of these 2 buttons. And then you can also log an activity. So if you've previously had an activity with Alex, you can come in here and click on telephone call and schedule that telephone call and type in all the details and either schedule it for the future or complete it because it's already been done. If you'd like to add this candidate to a hot list, you can. So maybe if Alex is one of your top Java developer candidates, you can click on Add Candidate to Hot List and add them to that hot list if it's available. You can also remove the candidate from the long list by clicking on this last option here, and that would remove them completely from this list. That's a way to reach out singly to these candidates if you would like, but we also give you the opportunity to reach out in bulk. Sometimes we find reaching out in bulk saves you a lot of time. So what you can do is either come to the top left corner and select all, or you can be picky and only select certain people that you would like to reach out to. I'm going to go ahead and select all, and now that I have my action button where I can do bulk activities. So if I click on the down arrow here, I can send a template. If I hit send email, this will bring up my email option. It will show you everybody that's included in the email in the to section. You can then over on the right choose a template that you would like to send out. So something like this, I'd like to send a job description out to all of these people to find out that if they're interested in it. Here is where you'd have your job description listed, and keep in mind your template might be slightly different, but it will be personalized. If I scroll down at the bottom on the left-hand side, send a separate personalized email, I'm going to go ahead and check that off. What that means is it's going to put in there hi and then their first name, and you'll see the tags here. The opportunity description, which is the job description, will automatically pull in. And every one of these people in the to field will receive their own email. They will not see the other people on the email. They will be the only one. You'll also be able to add attachments to this email if needed by coming down to where this paperclip is and either clicking in the empty white box to open up where your computer is and find a file on your computer. Or if you'd like to find a document that's in Tracker, you can click on the plus. You can look for a folder inside Tracker and find that document in that folder. Or if that document is in a record, you can click on Record Document, type in the record. If it was this job, I could pick the record here. And if there were any documents, I could choose them from here, and that would be added to the email. Once I hit send on this email will go out, and they will all receive a job description about the Java developer spot. Now that you've sent out those bulk emails, you're probably going to want to do a little bit more of a deeper search into these candidates to make sure that they would be a good fit. Now, we've given you a really quick and easy way to scroll through the candidates and see a lot of information. What you can do is click on this quick view or the preview eye here, and this will show you the candidate's resume along with all the keywords that you have searched highlighted. You'll see here as we scroll down, this is his entire resume. We then also have the keywords listed on a separate page. Here it gives just a snippet of the resume and where those keywords come up on it. The next tab over is going to be the job history. So here this is information from their resume and all the jobs that they have been in that are listed on their resume. The next tab over is going to be their activity. So here you'll see all the activities that have been associated with this particular candidate. Any listings that they've been placed on. So whether if they've been placed at these particular jobs or even just shortlisted, you'll see that here. You'll also be able to click right into that record if needed. And then at the bottom, it shows you the hot list that this candidate is a part of. And here you can click right into them as well. The next tab over is going to be the summary. The summary just gives you a quick little look at the candidate's actual record. So just their location, where they're currently working, and their summary synopsis and that information here. And then the last button over is a notes section. Those notes are the hand-typed notes that you've done on the candidate record. Keep in mind at the top of the screen, we do have a nice executive view of this candidate. It'll show you how many times the candidate's been shortlisted, submitted, interviews, placements, when they were registered inside your system, and also their current status. Now we know this is a great view for you, so we've made it really easy for you to go through all the candidates and use these arrows at the top here in the right to go through each candidate without having to open this and close it every single time. So you can click through here to view each candidate. You also have the shortlist button, where if you do like this candidate, you can add them right to the shortlist from here. You also have the action item button here, so we can click on the down arrow. Here you can send an email, a text, or even a form. You also have all the phone numbers that we have listed inside Tracker for that candidate, as well as creating or opening an agency resume right from here. And then we also have the log and activity section here. If you click on this, you can log any one of these activities if you would like. And then last but not least, if you decide they are not a great fit, you can click Remove Candidate from Long List. The last button you're going to see at the top is Undock. This allows you to undock this view and maybe have a couple open if you need to compare different candidates. Now please do keep in mind, once you undock this, you cannot flip through the different candidates on the long list. This will have to stay on its own, and we'd have to then go and open up the next person down the line in order to see the other ones. Another way we've given you to help you filter out these candidates is by color coding them. So over in the rank section, the bubbles that you have that show their rank number can be clicked to change color. The three colors we give you are red, amber, and green. They can really mean anything that you would like to you, but how we look at them is green is you definitely would like to shortlist this person. Amber may mean you want to have more conversation with this particular candidate or do a little bit more research on their background. And red may be that you don't want to use this candidate at all. This is a great way to color code to make it really easy for a visual guide on where these candidates are sitting at. One other thing you can do is filter your candidate results by using the filter button that's over here on the right next to clear results. If you click on the filter, at the top, you can decide if you only want to see your amber candidates. You can uncheck all of those, hit go, and it will only show you your candidates that you've color coded as amber. Then you could do more research and decide what you'd like to do with those candidates. If you run a couple of searches and you only want to see the newest candidates that came in from your last search, you can click on this to see that. If we're using job boards, you can only see your job board candidates that you've parsed in by checking off this box here. You can also find out the people that have not been contacted in this job by checking this off. That means you've not reached out to them either via email or a telephone call about this particular job, and it will only show you those candidates. Now, if you've shortlisted a bunch of candidates, you can click here and hide the shortlisted candidates. And then you can also search your long list if you're looking for something specific. Now that we've looked at our search results from your Tracker database, we can take a look at your job board search results as well. Here we can decide whether we'd like to parse these candidates in and add them to the long list of the job, the short list of the job, or if you would just like to keep them in your Tracker database for use at a later date. So the first tab here that you see, all job boards, this will show you all the candidates that have come back from all the job boards that you've added. You will have separate tabs here for the separate job boards if you'd like to divide them out. While looking at this here, you're going to see very much the same thing you saw from the Tracker results when it comes to ranking. You'll see you'll have duplicates and triplicates though, because this candidate was number 1 out of the 98 that came from Indeed. This next one is number 1 out of 50 from Monster. And then this last one here is going to be number 1 out of the 200 that came from TechFetch. Now, as you can see, you have the name that's on the resume, their job title, and then you also have their location. You're going to have the shortlist button like we have on the long list, so this would automatically parse that candidate resume and add them to the shortlist. If you don't want to add them to the short list, you can click on this down arrow here and decide to put them on the long list. Or if you want to keep this candidate for use on another job, you can click on keep, and that would parse their resume, create that full candidate record, and add them to your database to use at a later date. We also have the view resume button here, which would allow you to view their full resume. Now please keep in mind any of these options that you choose, whether it's shortlist, long list, keep, or view resume, will cost you a credit or a view from that particular job board. Now you'll see a snippet here. This snippet should be exactly what you normally see inside that job board. So you can take a look at this to give you a better idea of some of their skills. Now we do know that you may have downloaded some of these people from job boards already or spoken to them before and have previously added them into the Tracker database. We wouldn't want this to cost you a view or a credit, so we give you a couple of different ways to see that this candidate may be in Tracker. One way to see is there's a link next to the candidate's name, and if you hover over it, it's going to say that this record with this name found on Tracker RMS, letting you know that somebody with the matching first name and last name has been found in Tracker. To take a look at them, you have a plain CV view here, or a preview eye to take a look at the quick view of their candidate record. If I click on the quick view here, this is going to show me what's inside Tracker, and then I can see here if this is the same person. So I'll see that Vimal is an information architect located in Blaine, Washington. If I look here, this person is in Blaine, Washington, and they do have some of the same information from their resume. This lets me know I do not want to download their resume again, so I do not cost myself a view. Once you've made a decision, you can shortlist people or any of these actions singly by using this here. If you would like to do things in bulk, you can click here if you would like and select everybody, or be picky and only select certain people. Once my bulk action button pops up, I can then either shortlist selected by clicking that, and that would add everybody to the shortlist. That would parse that candidate in, create a full candidate record, and then add them to the shortlist. Or if I click on this action menu here, I can long list just the selected people, keep the selected people, shortlist every single person that came up in the search results, long list every single person, or keep every single person in the Tracker RMS database. Keep in mind, when it says everyone, that means all 348 of your results would be parsed in. While this action is happening, over on the right-hand side, you're going to see who's pending, succeeded, and failed. So this will give you a count as it's all happening in the background as they upload one by one. Now that I have people added to my long list, I'd like to go ahead and add some to my short list. So I'm going to go ahead and check off a few people here that I would like to shortlist. Once I hit shortlist selected, you'll see that these candidate shortlist button have been grayed out, so I cannot add them again, and it gives me an idea of who's been on that shortlist, as well as it turned their button green to know that that's where they are. Now if I click on the shortlist button here, I will see all the candidates listed on our card view. Please watch video 2 to learn how to move these candidates on the shortlist through the hiring process of sending out the resume, all the way to getting them working or rejected.